This is Andrew Shearer. I am an arts and culture reporter for USA Today, and this was a video that I asked if anybody would want to see during March, Women's History Month. And this is going to be from my collection, so as much as I could possibly pull, horror movies directed by women. And so because I know that some of you will only watch the first few minutes of this, I do want to give like some at the top things. And the first thing is my friend Heidi Honeycutt's book, I Spit on Your Celluloid, The History of Women Directing Horror Movies. This was just published this year, I think. And so it's the most up-to-date list you will find in terms of the most recent stuff being made. And so if there's anything I left out or got wrong, or if you just want to know more, buy this. Heidi, some trivia about her. She gave me my first writing gig. My first, the first time I was ever published on anything was Heidi's site, prettyscary.net, 2004, and Fangirl-tastic, and got me my first interviews with some well-known folks, including a director that we will be talking about in this video. So thank you, boss, as always. So, okay, you're gonna only watch this for 5 minutes, so I need to do some like 101 type of stuff. For horror franchises, Slumber Party Massacre franchise, including the new, the latest remake of the original Slumber Party Massacre, were all made by women, all directed by women, and the new one is actually my favorite out of all of them, and it does pay tribute to some of the, maybe it's a part 4, I can't remember. I know that I love it, and I have it on digital. I don't have it. Also, Mary Lambert directed Pet Sematary 1 and 2, so pretty cool. And a footnote about the Carrie series of movies, the version with Chloe Grace Moretz, directed by a woman, Kimberly Pierce, I think, who made Boys Don't Cry, and pardon me if I get some of these wrong, I'm going off of memory, and Kat Shea of the Strip to Kill series directed the Rage Carrie 2. The other ones, dudes. Let's see here. So now we'll get into it. When I did black horror movies, or horror movies by black directors back in February, I mentioned Nia DaCosta's Candyman, also the best Candyman movie, and I also mentioned Eve's Bayou, which is by Casey Lemons. But I did not mention something else from the Criterion Collection, which is Nanny. This movie, I have to admit, I've only watched once, and it was an Amazon Prime original. The director is Nikyatu Jusu, and this is horror, like deep, punch you in the chest, third act, ruin your day type of horror. It has, surreal scenes and nightmare stuff and bugs crawling into people's mouths and monsters and things like that. But it also is, at heart, it's the story of a woman who's from Africa who is trying to, she's cleaning these white people's house and watches their kids so that she can get enough money to fly her son to the United States. I believe she's in New York. And she keeps being plagued by these horrible visions and things she doesn't understand and images of water, and it will break your heart. But an excellent movie. I watched it when it was an Amazon original. Have not found myself in the headspace to watch the Criterion. Did watch the bonus features, so you get to talk to the cast and the director. But that's a big one. Also, Model Hunger. Might be a little biased here because this was directed by my favorite living actor, Debbie Rochon. As you can see, she has written a bunch of really nice things all over it. I was there at the premiere at the Crimson Screen Film Fest when it happened, and Debbie and I got to hang out, and I got to listen to her take audience questions. And so, yeah, this one, but it's an awesome movie, and it deals with some subjects that are recurring in some of these other horror movies made by women. And so, but yeah, if you like The Substance, for example. Now, I just thought of a movie that I didn't grab that needs to be... See, this always happens. Marina Devon's In My Skin, which I believe is getting a Blu-ray finally. This is body horror, but it's also cannibalism. And if you enjoy the French Extremity movies, most of which were made by men, another one that was not is Trouble Every Day by Claire Denis. And this is vampire, maybe, or cannibal. There's definitely some crazy stuff going on in here. But that's another one from the French Extremity era. But this, it's hard for even me to watch. It just hurts. This movie hurts. But it is brilliant. So can't wait for the Blu-ray to come out. I hope this has commentary on it and a couple of Marina Devon short films too. Okay, so I remembered that. And I did Pet Sematary, Slumber Party Massacre. Oh, let's talk about... Well, this is sad. So Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror and Bye Bye Man were both directed by Stacy Tidle. Stacy, unfortunately, passed away from cancer, I believe it was, just a couple of years ago. But she did live long enough to see all the you-know-what y'all talked about her movie, which is a really good movie, by the way. She didn't have such a great time making Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror. I didn't press her for that when I interviewed her on my podcast I used to have called the Cinemaphile Podcast. But she and her husband, Jonathan Penner, who wrote this together, he came and talked about, at the time they were just making this. So it was really interesting. Stacy Tidle also made a movie called The Last Supper with Cameron Diaz and Courtney B. Vance. That is a very dark comedy, but I wouldn't call it horror. Let's see, what else do we have here? This is all stuff that I... Okay, Near Dark, Catherine Bigelow, iconic vampire movie. When people talk about like women horror directors, for years it was like Mary Lambert and it was Catherine Bigelow, and they always like really went to those two, Pet Sematary and Near Dark. This is an essential one that you need to have. I guess it was the 80s or maybe early 90s, but look at this. Her name is above the title, which is great. What else do we have here? Oh, thank you to my friend Heidi's book, I Spit on Your Celluloid, because I wasn't sure if this movie was going to fit or not. It came from Kuchar by Jennifer M. Crute, my favorite documentary of all time. If I need inspiration to do anything, from like write a screenplay or write an article or just like do yard work, anything, this is the most inspiring movie to me that I've ever seen. It's about George Kuchar, the underground filmmaker, and his brother Mike. But I've watched this easily 30 or 40 times. Every time I start a major creative project, I play this. Other stuff we have sticking out here, so I wouldn't forget it. Ravenous by Antonia Bird. Antonia Bird, I believe, also has passed away. I saw Ravenous at the Beechwood Cinemas, which is now closed, in Athens, and I remember I was really hungry, and this is a cannibal movie. And I remember, like, for some reason after the movie, like during the movie when they're, it's like I really wanted pot roast for some reason. So that should tell you what a well-done cannibal movie it is if you actually get hungry watching it. I can't say the same for a lot of cannibal movies that I've watched. So So let's talk about Jennifer Kent, most famous for having made the Babadook. Now, this is the Pride version of Babadook that I got from Scream Factory, but I also have the OG, because the OG has the cool pop-up book inside. But this I just want to show, because when you have this on display at your house or wherever you are, this really tells you like who the awful people are in your life and who the great people are, as to whether or not they point out that you have this. Jennifer Kent's other movie, talk about soul crushers, like the Nanny, or like Nanny. Sorry, the Nanny is something entirely different. Nightingale. This is another, like, don't make any plans when you watch it movie. Babadook is Jennifer Kent's most well-known, but this is the one that hurt me the most. Beautiful movie. So, I mentioned The Substance earlier. That is, of course, the Academy Award-winning woman-directed horror movie. Groundbreaking film. Body horror. Classic. Instant classic. And you can throw a rock and hit someone who's more interesting and better qualified to talk about the nuances of The Substance than I am. I'm just saying I went and saw it as soon as it came out. Why? Because I was a fan of Revenge, which is Coralie Farjah's first feature film. It came out around 2017. This is a revenge movie. She took the I Spit on Your Grave, Last House on the Left type of revenge stuff and really, really modernized it and made it a woman's story. Those other movies are directed by dudes. And this is, you'll see, and I noticed as soon as I saw Sue wearing the star earring, I knew that it was a tribute to that. And I was the only one in the theater that screamed. But later, the movie was making people scream a whole lot. All right, I hope I'm not missing anything, but I need to go and do the quick flashcard version so I don't make another 20-minute movie, but I can't make any promises. American Psycho, directed by Mary Herron, written with Guinevere Turner. It's, of course, an adaptation of one of the most despicable books ever written. And so this is my preferred version of that story, American Psycho. I've got these in alphabetical order for you. So we couldn't forget Jackie Kong, The Being. The reason I didn't bring out Blood Diner, which is probably Jackie Kong's most famous movie, is because this movie has in it someone who actually lives in Athens, and that is Marianne Gordon Rogers, who was once married to a country music singer that had a chain of chicken restaurants. But Marianne was also in Rosemary's Baby. So Marianne wins. I've interviewed her a couple times. She's awesome. Sofia Takal's Black Christmas, my favorite version of Black Christmas. There's a couple others floating around out there, but this is my absolute favorite. I have a preteen kid who's interested in horror, and we've watched this together a lot of times. This movie just kicks ass. Also, here we have Helena Rain. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Helena Rain, maybe? Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. When we're talking about a movie that's better than some other movies, I'm a huge Wes Craven fan. Respect. Got a lot of his movies back here, possibly all. I think Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is better than Scream. I also think The First Omen, which is directed by, does it have her name on here? Arkasha Stevenson. I think The First Omen is the best of the Omen series. If you're going to watch one Omen and you haven't seen any of them, do the Omen. Much like the Black Christmas down there, if you're going to watch one. Unless you're a turd. Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. This one is by that's somebody I haven't talked about. Anna Liliamer-Poor. So this is ultra cool. If you want to see a movie about a brown skateboarding vampire. Gorgeously photographed in black and white. One of the most unique horror movies, vampire movies ever done. This, speaking of remakes, Veronica Franz made this movie with another person. I'm not sure their name. Probably a guy. But Goodnight Mommy. This was remade, and I usually think a remake has improved somewhat on the original, but it was made kind of too soon after and didn't really do very much. This one I prefer. German language, though. I remember seeing this at Cine Theater in Athens, and a bunch of women had gone together, and one of them clearly wasn't a horror fan, and at some point tapped their friends on the shoulder and goes, "I'm out." And she left. A cool vampire movie, The Invitation. Part of me that I don't have all the directors memorized. I do my best. But this one is by Jessica M. Thompson. So this is more of the, I guess, the classic vampire sort of a tale. But the twist is, it's not all white people, and the star, let's see, Nathalie Emmanuel makes this movie. It's great. The unrated version, I don't know that it really adds anything except for some more cussing, blood, and nudity, but not that much. You're fine to watch the rated if that's what you can find. Dun dun dun. Karen Kusama's iconic Jennifer's Body. You know, I didn't appreciate this movie at the time that it came out. I went to see it and I felt that the ending confrontation was too much like the movie The Faculty. But I had so many people, all women, tell me, "Andrew, you're a jerk. You need to reevaluate Jennifer's Body." And of course, joke's on me because it's appeared since on the Criterion Channel. So, very important film, Jennifer's Body. And this cast, I've heard and read rumors that they are going to come back. I have enjoyed all of Megan Fox's recent movies that she has done, including Subservience, where she's the robot. It's kind of like the grown-up Megan. And I always love Amanda Seyfried, so I'd love to see them make a sequel to that. Jennifer Reeder, the great Jennifer Reeder, who made, I think, I hope I'm not wrong about this, Tigers Are Not Afraid, which I don't own. This is Knives and Skin. If you like David Lynch, Twin Peaks vibes, or like It Follows or Tragedy Girls, Knives and Skin, outstanding film. I tap the screen every now and then. I'm getting close to 20 minutes here, but I wanted to mention Zelda Williams' Lisa Frankenstein, one of the greatest 80s movies made in the 2020s. This movie is everything. I don't really know a way I could elaborate on it more. I went to see this 3 times. It is incredible, from the look to the humor to the gore to the acting. Catherine Newton I love in even movies I don't like Abigail, or what was the one where it was the little girl vampire? Instead it was just a bunch of adults cussing at each other, and but she was the best part. So Lisa Frankenstein, if you know, you know. Zelda Williams, by the way, daughter of the late Robin Williams. Anna Biller's The Love Witch has given way to tons of memes and aesthetic posts. I don't know how many folks have actually seen it. I got to interview, thanks to my boss Heidi, who made I Spit on Your Celluloid, available now. Way back when Anna Biller made her first movie, Viva, I got a screener of it and got to interview Anna Biller. And so one of the most incredible things about this that I don't know if a lot of people know is that she made the costumes herself. She like painted the set. She picked the antiques and stuff. That incredible look that Viva and this have is all, like, not only is it practical, but hands-on by the writer-director. Emerald Fennell's Promising Young Woman. If you're like, was that horror? Think back to the way this movie ends. And if you don't remember, I don't think you really watched it. One that is maybe kind of obscure, but I love, is Roman by Angela Bettis. Angela Bettis, of course, best known as from Girl Interrupted, or as the star of the movie May, which I've got up there by Lucky McKee. And she's the star of the remake of one of the remakes of Carrie, the one in between, the one that a woman directed. She was good. This is the reverse. So she was the star of Lucky McKee's May, and then they switched roles, and Lucky McKee is the star of Roman, directed by Angela Bettis. Angela Bettis, I recently watched in the Toolbox Murders remake, Tobe Hooper's The Toolbox Murders. She was by far the best thing about it and a great reason to watch. All right, Chelsea Stardust, Satanic Panic. I don't know. I don't hear a lot of people talking about Satanic Panic. Look at that iridescent cover. Satanic Panic is awesome. It's got some really shocking moments. Incredible leading role by Rebecca Romaine. And it also has Ruby Modine, who is in the Happy Death Day movie. And I guess is she in both of them? 1 and 2? I love her. Another autographed one. We're getting near the end here. I still didn't hit 20 minutes. I'm at 21. Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama Part 2, directed by Brinke Stevens. This I have not seen anywhere else happen. An actor from an 80s horror movie coming back to make the sequel decades later. This is unprecedented as far as I know. And if you know an instance where that happened, please correct me. But Brinke Stevens is one of the Scream Queens. They coined the term Scream Queen for Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, and Brinke Stevens, and this is her movie, which she was nice enough to sign for me. Then last, and those were in alphabetical, but definitely not least, and I hope I'm not leaving anything out, but as you saw, I have a whole... Oh, no! Let's not do this one last. How could I forget? Julia Ducournau. Cannibal movie, Cannibal College Romp, has one of the best cannibal, dance sequences in cinema history. Possibly the only? I don't know. But this is really gory. And then her movie after that, Titane. This is beyond description. This is absolutely incredible. I want to say it's another revenge movie, but it's been a while since I watched it, but I did get to see it on the big screen. Titane is, well, it says it's a heart and head thumping masterpiece, but this happens. This happens in the movie. It's absolutely incredible. Julia Ducournau is probably one of my favorite directors. And at the time Raw was out, Revenge was out, and you really didn't know what these directors were going to do next. And I really think this was a massive step forward, as much as I love this. But if she has made a new movie, let me know, because I right now can't think of it. Okay, now for real. I'm sure I left something out, but we're almost hit 25 minutes again. I tried. We have XX. This is an anthology film of horror movies directed by women. The directors that participate in this, Karen Kusama, who made The Invitation, which is not that invitation, but it's something that I think was on Netflix, but also made Jennifer's Body, right? This also has Roxanne Benjamin. Made a great movie called Southbound, and I got to interview her when she did press for that. It was really cool. Jenna Vukovic, who I only know as the former editor of Rue Morgue magazine, but one of horror's most ardent champions of women in women directors, women artists, women filmmakers. And then Sofia Carrillo, La Casa Triste, also on here. So I need to get some of Gigi Guerrero's movies on Blu-ray or DVD. That's what I need to do, because she's made some really incredible films. But anyway, that's what I got. So thank you, everyone, for watching the entire thing, if you did. There's the, we'll do the, this will be my, what do you call it, the teaser, the thumbnail.